Assalamu alaikum. Farzan, shall we start?
Yeah, Maulavi, we are set to start. You can start. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. Amma ba'd. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أحل الله البيع وحرم الربا. صدق الله العليم. Dear brothers, Alhamdulillah, last week we started this session. We were talking about generally what is riba, what is prohibited in Islamic financial transaction. So this week, inshallah, we'll discuss what is a sale and what are the element of sale to be a valid sale in Islamic Sharia law. The reason we have chosen this topic for this session, recently we saw in social media there was a audio was circulated, some scholars talking about Islamic financial institution like buying and selling a goods, buying a car and selling a car. His argument is the bank does not own that goods. The car is not in the bank's premises, therefore it is not a valid transaction and it is riba. He was claiming that it is an interest. So I thought to take this opportunity to clear the doubts among us, some of us having this doubt whether is it a proper transaction or not. Okay. Let us look at the definition of the sale. So when we talk about the sale, okay, when we talk about the sale in Islamic law, around the world, in the world there are three jurisdictions is followed. One is the Sharia law, another one is the civil law, next is the common law, which is called English law. So generally in financial transaction, in contracts, most of the countries they follow the English law, whether is it Islamic countries or non-Islamic countries. Like in Arab countries, in Gulf countries, they follow the Sharia law, but when it comes to the financial transaction, all their contracts and transactions are based on the English law. So even the civil countries, where the countries they are following the civil law, like German, France, all these USA, they also follow mostly English law. Even in Sri Lanka and in India, we also follow the English law when it comes to a transaction. So before we move to the Sharia law to understand what is a sale, if we look at a sale in English law, right? A sale to be valid in English law, there are a few elements. One is there should be an offer, then there should be a communication of the offer, then there should be a acceptance, and there should be a communication of the acceptance, and there should be a intention to create legal relationship between the both parties, and there should be a consideration. These are the important elements a sale to be valid in English law. Without this element, a sale is not valid. Similarly, if you look at the Sharia law, in Sharia law also these are the same elements is required in Sharia law. But English law it came like 300, 400 years ago, but Sharia law is given to us by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 1400 years ago. So we'll discuss that in details. So let us look at first what is a sale. A sale is the exchange of one asset for another particular asset. It should be in a particular way where the ownership of that asset is transferred to another person. Right. For example, in a sale there will be a buyer and seller. The seller is selling the goods, buyer is buying that goods. Now when the buyer buy that goods, the ownership of that asset should go to the buyer. If the ownership of that asset is remaining with the seller, it is not a sale. It is not a sale. For example, we call it like a leasing. In lease, the owner keep the ownership, but he give the asset to another party to use it for a temporary period, for a shorter period. So this is called lease. But when it comes to a sale in Sharia, the ownership of that asset has to go to another party. Then that is a sale, right? In Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran talk about sale in few ayah. One is surah number 12 and verse number 20. That is say وَشَرَوْهُ بِثَمَنٍ بَخْسٍ دَرَاهِمَ مَعْدُودَةٍ. Another ayah Allah say بِئْسَ مَا اشْتَرَيْتَ. Another ayah Allah say أَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا. Another ayah Allah say إِلَّا أَن تَكُونَ تِجَارَةً أَن تَرَاضٍ مِّنكُم. All this is you can find in the Quran. So all this is verses Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about a trade. Okay. Now when it comes to a sale, generally we know that we go to a shop, we go to a supermarket, we buy a grocery, we give the money, we get a goods and we come, right? So we buy a tangible asset, we buy a physical goods what we can see. So in sale in Sharia, it accommodates whether it can be a physical goods or it can be a services also, it can be bought and sold. Services also it can be bought and sold. The same question was arise. The same question was raised last week. Somebody is buying an extended warranty. Whether is it valid in Sharia? Extended warranty means, for example, we buy electronic items. They give with the electronic items a 1 year warranty. They are saying if you want extended warranty for another 2 years or 6 months, you have to pay additional amount. Now we are paying additional amount, say 100 riyal or 1000 dirham or 10,000 rupees for additional 6 months warranty. Now this 6 months warranty, is considered as a sale. So what we are buying there, a service. There is no physical goods, but we are buying a service. So when it comes to a sale, it can be a sale of goods, it can be a sale of services. Hope this is clear. So I will move to the next. Next, again, when we say the goods can be tangible goods and goods can be intangible goods. Tangible goods, we all know that we go to a supermarket, a grocery shop, we buy physically, we carry and come. Intangible goods, like for example, Microsoft, somebody is buying an IT system, or somebody is buying this Microsoft, he's buying. So all this is intangible goods. Another one is like electricity, right? We can't see gas, we can't see from our eyes. So this is also a valuable goods. It also can be bought and sold. So when it comes to goods, it can be a tangible, intangible, any kind of goods in Sharia, it can be bought and sold. So this is the definition of the sale. A sale means you have to exchange one asset for another. In particular way, by you are exchanging, ownership of the goods will move to another party. Okay. Now let us look at the next slide. What is the element of the valid sale? In Sharia, if a sale to be valid, there should be 6 conditions. If one of these conditions are missing, a sale is not valid. The first one, there should be a buyer and a seller, right? The third is there should be a goods to be traded, then there should be a price to be paid, and offer and acceptance. Why we are talking about buyer and seller, right? We always know that there is a buyer, right? Without a seller, if the sale happen, for example, I'm using my phone, right? But I never had an idea to sell my phone. So somebody in my office, he likes my phone. So what he did, he put 100 riyal next to my table and he took my phone and went. Right? But I am the owner of the phone, but I didn't try to sell this phone. I never wanted to sell the phone. But there is a buyer, there is a goods, he took the phone, he put the price, but without the seller, he took the phone and went. Right? So this is not a valid sale. This is not acceptable in Sharia. If any sale to be done, there should be a buyer and seller. Okay, when it comes to a buyer and seller, there is a certain condition. I will not discuss that in details. The buyer should be an adult or he should be a matured and he should be sane, not insane, and he should not be forced to enter into this sale. These are the conditions of the buyer and seller. The third one is a sale to be valid. There should be a goods to be traded. For this goods, there are 5 conditions. We'll discuss those conditions in details in next slide. Then there should be a price, right? Always there should be a price to be paid for us in a sale. So we'll discuss this also in details in the following slide. Then there should be offer and the acceptance. This is in English law, it is called an intention to create a legal relationship. But in Sharia we call ijab and qabul, offer and acceptance. The why this is important, Offer and acceptance is important because to get the concern of both party, they want to sell, they want to enter into a trade, right? This is what Allah says in Quran, illa an takuna tijaratan an taradhim minkum. If you want to enter into any transaction, any contract, there should be a concern of both party. If any sale is forced without any concern of any of the party, that sale is not valid. Not valid. So these are the 6 pillars of valid sale in Sharia. I hope this is clear. So whenever required, I will come back to this slide and I will discuss in details. So we'll move to the next one. So we talk about the goods to be traded. There should, in any sale, there should be a goods, right? Now, if a goods to be traded, there are 5 conditions for those goods in Sharia, right? The first one, it must be a pure. Anything is unpure, impure, it cannot be traded. It is a not valid sale. It is not a good commodity to be traded in a sale. Right? Pure means it should be pure. For example, anything impure, najis, it cannot be traded. Example is like a dog. It is in the light of Sharia, it is impure. Similarly, alcohol and blood. All these items are impure in Sharia, cannot be traded. You may ask the question, so we donate the blood. Yes, donating the blood, it is permissible in Sharia, but blood cannot be sold or bought. Right? Even the further the Sharia scholars discussing, a person, he wanted a particular blood, maybe O positive, O B positive, his blood is not available. If he had to pay the money and buy, then it is permissible for him in the surah of necessity, when it is necessity for him to get that blood. But the person who is selling, it is an impure transaction for him. So any sale that we are going to trade in the transaction, the subject matter of the sale, the goods, we have to make sure that is pure. Second condition is the subject matter of the transaction, goods we are going to trade, it should be useful. Right? Whatever is not useful, we can't trade. Right? Let me give an example here. Right? What Sharia is considering as a not useful. Right? For example, a person is trading crow. In Arabic we say gurab or kaham, crow. So maybe it is not useful for the buyer or not useful for the seller. So this item cannot be traded. Another example is a person is selling one seed of rice or dal or like 1 spoon of sugar, maybe half of a spoon of sugar. So this one rice, one seed of rice, one seed of dal, it cannot be useful or beneficial for any party. So these are the item, like example, whatever is not useful for the either parties, that cannot be traded. The third condition is the goods, the subject matter that we are trading, it should be deliverable. If it is not deliverable, it is not a valid commodity to be traded. Example is for this, right? I am the owner of the house. The deed of the property is in my name, but it is occupied by some other party. They are claiming that is their house. Now if I sell this house to a buyer, I am not able to deliver this house to the buyer because it is occupied by another party. Another example is I want to sell my car, all documents is in my hand, registration is in my hand. I am selling to a buyer, but my car is stolen. Car is stolen, I don't know where is the car. If I sell the car to him, I show the picture and I am selling the car to him, but I will not be able to deliver the car to the buyer. Therefore, it is not deliverable. Whatever is not deliverable, we can't sell. If we sell, that sale is not valid. The fourth condition, the seller should be owner of the property. He can't sell other people's property. So when it comes to this point, for example, the son is expecting to inherit from the father after father's death. He can't sell that property right now today, before father's death. Why? Still he did not become a owner. Father said for the son, this property is for you, you use it, but I will transfer to you after my death. Then in that scenario, the son is not the owner of the property, he can't sell it because the father is the owner. Right? So whatever we want to trade, we should be the owner. The seller should be the owner of the property. The fifth condition is it should be clearly known what are the items we are going to sell. I gave last week an example. I have a car, one is Toyota, one is Mercedes. I am telling someone, give me 1 million, take one of the car. I did not identify what car, then the sale is not valid. We have to clearly identify what is the assets I am going to sell, the someone is going to buy. So these are the 5 conditions in a commodity which we are going to trade. Okay. There are a few type of sale. Let me discuss in briefly. In Sharia, we call this one is musawama. Musawama mean without. It is a sale at negotiated price. Generally, currently what we are doing in our day-to-day life, we buy and sell. Just we mention the sale price. The seller does not mention what is the cost of the goods, and the buyer does not know what is the cost of the goods. This is in Sharia, in Arabic, in Sharia law, in Fiqh al-Muamalat, it is called as a musawama. Another sale is called murabaha. The murabaha sale mean, it is what is Islamic banking practice. Murabaha sale mean, the seller will disclose to the buyer what is the cost of the goods when he acquired, and he will say, I'm keeping a certain amount of profit and I'm selling to you. Another kind of sale is tawliya, that is a person buy at a price and he sell it at the same price. There is another kind of sale is called wali'a, the person buy at a price and he sell it at a loss. So this is also considered in Sharia. So there we can define the type of sale into 4 categories. So this all we are practicing in day-to-day life, and it is practiced by Islamic bank as well. Okay. Now this is simply I define the sale and what are the important element of the sale. So let me move to the next, the issues related to the sale transaction. So I will touch upon the first issues which was highlighted by in that social media. He said when Islamic bank buy and sell, the Islamic bank does not own the goods or does not bring the goods to the bank's premises, bank's warehouse to sell the goods to the buyer. Right. Now, where he is referring to this point? Okay. This point is related to the bank does not own the goods. It's related to the position of the goods. Right. In Sharia, it is very important. A person who wants to sell the goods, he must be owner of the goods. Okay. Here we discuss. Number 4, he must be owner of the goods in order to sell the goods. Number 3, it must be deliverable. It must be deliverable mean it must be in his ownership and it must be in his position to give the goods to a buyer. Right? Yeah, the goods must be in the position of the seller in order for the seller to give the position of the goods to the buyer. Right? Now let us look at how the position. How Sharia recognizes the position. In Sharia law, the position is recognized in 3 ways. The first one is the fuqaha, the scholars saying, whatever we trade through hands, like mu'atat, whatever we trade through hands, by handing over the goods, the position is passed. For example, if you go to a supermarket, we buy say if you go to a grocery shop or bakala, we buy 1 kg sugar, right? The owner of the shop, he gives the sugar to us, we pay 2 riyal or 200 rupees. He gives the sugar to us, we give the money. So when we taken over the sugar, when we paid the money, we have taken the position of the sugar. So this is in the grocery. Sharia scholars saying whatever is traded by the hand, al-mu'atat, when you hand over the goods to another party, the position is passed. The second one is, second category, when it comes to a position, there are goods we can't hand over through the hand. We can't hand over through a hand. This is they are saying fima yunkal. Fima yunkal means whatever will movable items. Movable items, we just move the items and give it to him, then the position is passed. For example, I want to sell my car, buyer is coming, we agreed, I took the money, we signed the paper, and I gave the car key to him. He start the car, he move and go. It means that position is given to him. I gave the car key to him. He took the car. He took the car from my house, and he took the position of the car. So this is fima yunkal. Whatever will be moved, through moving the position is passed to another person. The third, what a fima la yunkal. What a immovable property. In immovable property, how the position is given. At takhliya, the scholars, Sharia scholars saying, you vacating that property. You are vacating that property, the position is given to a buyer. For example, I want to sell my house. My house is immovable property. What I do, I vacate all my things. I hand over the key to him. I have given the position to him. So this is in Sharia, how Sharia recognizes handing over the position. There are three categories. Now the question what he is raising, he said Amana Bank does not bring the car to Amana Bank's warehouse in order to sell the car. It is not a requirement in Sharia. Why it is not a requirement in Sharia? Right. Say example. Let me give an practical example. Right. A person who's living in Gulf, he went on vacation before COVID. He is not able to come back to UAE or Oman. So what happened? His company terminated him. They sent him his end of service, all his salary. Now he has a car in Oman. Or he has a car in Dubai. He want to dispose his car. So what he is doing, he is writing a letter to someone, or he advertised through a Dubizzle or OLX, he got the buyer. He writing a letter, the person saying, take this letter through a lawyer, I am selling this car to you. But he did not take over the position of the car and give to another person. Car is in Dubai, he is in Sri Lanka. He through writing a letter and he is saying, I am transferring this car to you. You go to a ROP or you go to a traffic department, transfer the car to yourself. Now what's happening? It's a practical way. It's practically it's happening. So what's happening? The seller did not take the position of the car. It was not in his position. Car is in Dubai. He is in Sri Lanka. But he is giving the ownership of the car to another person, to the buyer. So it is recognized in Sharia. It is even recognized in our day-to-day life. We also know that this is acceptable, right? So this is the way how the position is transferred. Sharia does not tell, it is not requirement in Sharia, someone who want to sell something, it has to be in his warehouse. There is no such a requirement, right? Let me give another example. Like we are living in Sri Lanka, say we are in Colombo, right? My car is in my hometown in Kandy, right? I have the car documents and everything with me in Colombo. I found a buyer in Colombo who want to take my car, but he has inspected my car previously in Kandy. At that time we did come to agreement to buy the car. So we both met in Colombo. He agreed to buy my car again. He gave me the money, 1 million rupees in Colombo. I gave the documents to him in Colombo. I told him this is the key. You go and take the car from the Kandy, right? So this is acceptable in Sharia. What is requirement in Sharia? Car should be in my ownership. So I am the owner of the car. Car should be deliverable. Yeah, it is deliverable. It is in my house in Kandy. You can go and take it from the Kandy. Whether it can be in my house in Kandy, or it can be in someone else's house in Kandy, or I kept the car in someone car sale or car showroom to the car to be traded or to be sold. I'm telling him my car is my friend's car showroom or someone's car sale. You go there and take it. I will inform him to give the car to you. Then car is in the deliverable position. So therefore the sale is valid. Sharia there is no requirement in Sharia. It should be come to the warehouse of the seller, or it should be in the premise of the seller. Such a requirement is not available in Sharia. So as I explained to you, the first one is the position of the goods. For the position of the goods, there are three conditions. One is what is traded through the hand. It will be traded through the hand. Second one is what is a movable property. We making him to take the car and the goods and go. So that is the position is passed. Third one is immovable property. We are making that property empty, vacating and giving him, the position is given. So the same way it is practiced in Islamic bank. When a customer come to Islamic bank, say Amana bank, he say he want to buy a car. So what the Amana bank will do, will ask that customer, what is the car you want to buy? He will identify a car. He say, from so and so, this car I wanted to buy. He will bring a quotation, pro forma invoice. Now what the bank will do next step, the bank will contact that person who's the owner of the car, and the bank will do an agreement with him, sale and purchase agreement. Bank first will buy that car from the seller. Bank will buy that car from the seller. Now when the seller is selling the car, he has to issue an original invoice, commercial invoice in the name of the bank. The commercial invoice, it will not be in the name of the customer who wanted to buy the car. It will be in the name of the bank. So all the documents, they will sign in the name of the banks. So the bank actually will buy that car from the seller. Then the bank will directly make the payment to the seller. Bank will not give the money to the customer. Bank will directly make the payment to the seller. Bank will take over the position of the ownership of the car first. Now position. Now where is the position is lying? It is in the customer's, it is still in the customer, but bank has the ownership anytime to go and take the car. Now the bank will tell the customer, I bought this car from the so and so, it is in my ownership, it is in my position, I can deliver this car anytime. Now the bank will sign another agreement with the customer, saying, I am selling this car to you for the so much price. It is called murabaha. I bought this car for so much and I am keeping a profit of so much, and I am selling to you over the period of 48 months or 60 months, and I am selling this car to you. So this is a murabaha sale happen. So the first things we have to understand here, the bank bought that car before selling it to the customer. So definitely it will happen all over the Islamic bank. Around the world, all the Islamic bank, they practice this step first. They buy the car from the seller. Second, they take the position of the car. Right. What some banks do that, sometimes, like for example in Al Hilal Bank and Dubai Islamic Bank in UAE, even in Oman, the bank, what does they do? Even I know that Amana Bank also, they will send a staff of the bank to see where is the car. The staff will go there and he will inspect the car. He will take the key from the seller, then he will hand over the key to the buyer. Some bank they don't do that. Some financial institution they don't do that, but they take the ownership. They buy through buying they will take the ownership. They will pass the position to the customer through the constructive position. So when it comes to the position, there is a Sharia recognized two kind of position. One is taking the physical position or constructive position. Constructive position means through a documents you take the ownership and you took the position, then you pass the position to the buyer through the constructive position. This is also recognized. Therefore, what is the Islamic banking is practicing in this way, it is Sharia compliant. Okay, there was a question you mentioned, it is okay to take an extended warranty. Is it mandatory to check ensuring institution is Sharia compliant, or can it be from a conventional insurance institution? Please clarify. So far what I was talking about this extended warranty mean it is a warranty given to buying a goods. It is not an insurance from the insurance company. It is, for example, you buy electronic item from say Singer or from Abans. They say we give a 3 months warranty, but if you want another 6 months warranty, you have to pay for that. So I was talking about this kind of warranty, not from an insurance company. If it is from a conventional insurance company, it is not acceptable. Okay. This is the first point related to the sale I discussed. Is there any question before I move to next? Okay, the second question generally people have.
Assalamualaikum, Maulana.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Yes.
Just a question. You said that you have to take hold of the goods before you can sell. For example, someone has does not have a property. For example, he has seen a house. He's doing a business. He's seen a house, and then he wants to, for example, the house value is 100,000. He wants to sell it to another person for 150,000. Is it permissible? without he acquiring the property yet. As an intermediate, can he sell?
Okay, when it comes to intermediate, he is not the owner. He can't go and sell the. He can't go and tell the buyer, "I am the owner of the house." He can't tell the buyer, "I am the owner of the house." So what he has to say, he is like intermediate. He is a broker, right? Uh, in this scenario, if he say, "This is I am the owner of the house, I am selling to you," the sale is not valid, because clearly the hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "La tabi' ma laysa inda." Don't sell what you do not own. Don't sell what you do not own, right? So then he can either way, he can promise him, he can say, "I can find you this house for you, or I can get for you this house at this price, are you willing to buy?" So then in that scenario, he is not entering into a contract, he is entering into a promise, that he will find the house for him. Once he get the ownership of the house, if he buy, and he can sell it, or he will be through a broker, he will intermediate the transaction, he will get the commission. Hope the answer is clear.
Jazakallah.
Okay. The another question related to the sale, the
Sheikh.
people generally ask, there is a different price for the credit sale and the spot sale, right? They simply everyone has a question. If they go to Islamic bank, if they say he want to get a 1 million to buy a car, if it is 1 year, they will say you have to pay 1.1 million. If it is 2 year, you have to pay 1.2 million. If it is 3 year, you have to pay 1.3 million. So everyone has this question whether this is valid or not, right? Okay. Let us look at this question now. Okay. Now first we know that the spot sale, cash sale. What is a spot sale, cash sale mean? We give the money and we give the cash and we take the goods. The sale is done. The second one is the credit sale. Where the credit sale is allowed in Islam? Yes, it is allowed in Islam. Quran say Ahallallahu al-bay'a wa harrama al-riba. Surah number 2, verse number 275. In that surah Allah says, Allah has prohibited riba, but Allah has permitted trade. Allah has permitted trade, but Allah has prohibited riba, interest. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is comparing the interest with the trade. Okay. Generally we know that when we compare the apple to apple, orange to orange. We don't compare the apple to orange. Why? Both are different kind. So when Allah says Allah is comparing the apple, so when Allah is comparing the trade to a riba, Imam Tafsir Qurtubi, Imam Qurtubi rahmatullah is writing that this trade means it is a deferred sale, it is a credit sale. Why? We know that always riba, interest come in deferred payment. You give the money today, but you collect after 1 year, after 6 months. When there is a deferred payment, you increase the amount, then there is an interest. We discussed that in details last week. Okay, trade. Similarly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here, Ahallallahu al-bay'a mean this is a deferred sale. It means you sell some goods to someone on credit. You sell some goods to someone on credit. So therefore, in this ayah, it is evidence credit sale, deferred payment sale is valid in Sharia. Okay. Now, can we keep a different price? The second question is, can we keep a different price for the deferred sale or credit sale? Right. When it comes to fix the price, this is another question. When it comes to fix the price, there is no Sharia restriction where the price has to be so much or so and so. Sharia is open for the buyer and the seller to decide. It will be decided based on the demand and supply. There is another topic about excessive profit or abnormal profit. We'll discuss that next. So now just I'm highlighting that to fixing the price in Sharia law, it is up to the demand and supply. It's up to the choice of the buyer and the seller. Whatever goods, if someone is willing to pay for that goods, it is up to him to buy or not. Right. Now, the second question is, can we keep a different price for the credit sale? Right. As the Islamic bank says, for 1 year means so much, 2 year mean a little more than that, 3 year mean little more than that. Okay. Now, is this the price for that goods? For example, say you want to buy a car. He said the cost of the car is 1 million. If you pay after 1 year, he is saying 1.1 million. If you say after 2 years, you are saying 1.2 million. If you say after 3 years payment, you are saying 1.3 million. So each year the bank is increasing 100,000. Okay. Now the question is the sale is concluded when the bank say first year 1.1, second year 2.1.2, third year 1.3. The sale is concluded? No, sale is not yet concluded. Still you and the bank, or the customer and the bank, is negotiating what is the sale price. Let me give an example in our practical life. A person is going to a petar, he want to buy something from the payment, or generally we know we go to a flea market, polar, we want to buy something from the polar. Say a person is selling a sarang, right? A sarang price is, he said 1,000 rupees. When someone say 1,000 rupees a sarang in the payment of flea market, right? We are not going to give 1,000 immediately and you take the sarang. We ask, please reduce the price. We will negotiate the price. We will say maybe we are paying 800. He will say no, I will not give for 800. So he will say 950. I will say no, not 950, I will pay 900. He will say 850. He will say no. He will say let's finish it for 900. Now for this sarang, we talk about 5 price. First he said 1,000, I offered 800, he said 950, I offered 850, finally we ended up 900. Now what is the price of the sarang? It is a 900. It is not 850, not 800, not 1,000, not 950. The sale price is 900. So what is all for other? It is a negotiation. It is a bargaining, it is a negotiation. But sale happen at one price, that is 900. Similarly, if you go to Islamic bank, if you negotiate on the credit term, the bank is what they are going to sell. They are going to sell a car. Now you are discussing what is the car price. It is depend on the term, right? If you first year, if you are going to pay 1.1, second year 1.2, third year 1.3. But if you agree that you will pay in 2 years, they will agree the price 1.2 million. After agreeing the price, that is the sale price, not a 1.1, not a 1.3. Agreed sale price is 1.2. Now this is the price for that goods, that car. After agreeing the sale price, then the bank or the customer cannot change. If they change, that will fall under the category of the riba. That will fall under the category of the riba. Right? Before agreeing the price, whatever you are talking about, so all this is negotiation. All this is negotiation. In the hadith, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "La tasumu ala sawmi akhihi." Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam has said, someone is negotiating something with someone. For example, I am negotiating to buy your car. I offered you 1 million. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, don't go and negotiate that car for lesser or higher price. Because why? La tasumu ala sawmi akhi. If your brother is negotiating to buy something, you don't go and do another offer. You don't go and give a counter offer. This is the hadith. So negotiation is allowed in Islam. So this is what the bank does. They depend on the terms, they agree, they discuss, negotiate the price. Once the price is agreed, then that price cannot be increased or that price cannot be decreased. So this is when the price is fixed. Hope this question is clear. Okay, there is another question. Could you please explain the difference between Murabaha sale in Islamic bank and non-Islamic banks? Do both look same? Okay, right. It is a very fundamental question. It does not look same. It does not look same. Let me read the Quran ayah and the Surah Baqarah, Surah number 2, verse number 275. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, الذين يأكلون الربا لا يقومون إلا كما يقوم الذي يتخبطه الشيطان من المس. Allah said on the day of judgment, الذين يأكلون الربا, the people who were eating riba, who were taking interest, who were eating interest, they will come on the day of judgment. الذي يتخبطه الشيطان من المس, they're like a crazy person where the shaitan has touched him. He will come he will get up like a crazy person, like a majnoon, like a paitiyakaran. The reason Allah says, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا الْبَيْءُ مِثْلُ الرِّبَا. The clearly Allah says in Quran, the reason The reason they will come like that, they said the riba, the interest and the trade is same. Interest and the trade is same. Now, if we are saying the murabaha sale and non-Islamic bank, the trading are same, it means we will fall under the category of ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا الْبَيْءُ مِثْلَ الرِّبَا. The people who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that they are saying the trade and the riba is same. The reason is because we don't understand what is the interest. Okay, let me explain to you. Okay, in non-Islamic bank, the non-Islamic bank, what they are doing, they don't buy and sell. If you want a car, if you go and ask them you want to buy a car, they will give a loan to you. They will ask how much money you want. You say 1 million. They will give a loan 1 million to you. We discussed this in details last week. You can listen to a last week audio. The non-Islamic bank, they will give 1 million loan to you. Whether you take that money and go buy the car immediately or after 1 week or after 1 month, there no problem for them. Second thing is, what happened to your car, no problem for them. Whether your car met with accident or not accident, no problem for them. Right? What they want an Islamic bank, at the end of the agreed period, they want you to pay the money with additional profit, additional interest, or additional amount, that is called interest. But what's happening in Islamic bank murabaha, you go and ask them you want to buy a car and you ask them a loan, they will not give a loan. They will say what car you want to buy, from who you want to buy. They will say you bring a quotation for us. When you go and take the quotation to them, they will contact that car owner. They will contact the seller. The bank will directly buy that car from the seller. For that there is an agreement, sale purchase agreement or asset purchase agreement. Bank and the customer will sign. Bank and the seller will sign. So bank will directly make the payment to the seller. Bank take the ownership of the car. It will come to the bank. This is, I said, sale means transferring the ownership to a seller. Seller will transferring the ownership to a buyer. Right. Now this will happen when the car owner will transfer the ownership to the bank. Bank will take the ownership of the car. Bank will take the position. When here it will be a physical or constructive position. Constructive position will, through a documentation, bank will take the position. Then subsequently bank will sell this car to you. Bank will sell this car to you. So when you take this car, you are not buying from that seller. You are buying this car from the bank. So this is the difference between Islamic banking murabaha and non-Islamic bank, how they are treating a car loan. Hope the answer is clear. There are a few more topics to discuss about the excessive profit. Inshallah, I will discuss those topics inshallah next week. If you have any question today, inshallah, I will more than happy to answer, because we are almost 8:15. We're supposed to finish 8:15 or 8:17 inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Just one question in the same murabaha. You were telling about this when the bank buys and sell it to you. You were talking about an accident. When some accident or anything happens, the conventional banks will not take ownership of that. Now, while this vehicle is being sold to the customer, and how about the ownership now? If the customer has not paid enough money, about 30% he has paid, 70% is to be paid, right?
Okay.
And in this case, if if any accident or anything happens, who will take the ownership of that?
Okay. Right. In Islamic banking, to finance or vehicle finance, car finance, they have a different mode, right? The adhan is going on. Just give me 2 minutes. Let's adhan finish. I will answer inshallah. Muslim bank. Okay, in Islamic bank, to finance vehicle, there are a few modes they use. One is called murabaha and ijara, musawama, diminution musharaka, right? So we'll be discussing about that other modes like ijara and diminution musharaka in our coming session. So if the bank finance to car on murabaha basis means the bank buy the car and sell the car to you. In this mode, the customer, you will become the owner of the car, right? You will become the owner of the car. You bought the car, right? Now what you have to pay for the bank, it is a debt. So you have taken the position of the car, you have become the owner of the car, ownership come to you. Now there is a remaining upon your liability is a debt. This is what you have to pay to the bank. Let me give an example. Before give me example, let me tell you one thing. Uh, okay. If you look at the Sharia law, in Sharia law there are different parts. Last week we talked about the ibadah and muamalat, and there are something called muamalat and muasharat and akhlaq and jinayat. Jinayat which is a criminal law, and muasharat, akhlaq. There are 5-6 parts in Sharia law. So we generally practice muamalat and ibadat and nikah. This is also in Sharia law, right? In Sharia law, except muamala, all other parts, ibadat, if you take the nikah, marriage, or jinayat, criminal law, all these parts, it is not logical. We can't put our brain, and we can't understand what is the logic behind that, right? For example, if we had to pray 4 rakat, why we had to pray 4 rakat? Why we had to go to the position of ruku? Why we had to go to the position of sujood? So we can't understand the logic. If you have to pay the zakah, why we have to pay 2.5%? Why not 2%? Why not 3%? So we can't understand the logic. It is from Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a commandment. We have to obey it. But when it comes to mu'amalat, financial transaction, when it comes to a financial transaction, all financial transaction, what is the Sharia law? It is logic. Everyone can understand. Okay. What is the reason behind that? Right. In ibadah, the relationship is between us and Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we need an iman first to obey that. But when it comes to a muamala, it is between me and you, between us and another humankind. So it should be logical for a person to understand. Therefore, if you look at the Sharia law in muamala, everything is logic. Everything is what we see as a correct in our day-to-day activities and day-to-day transaction. That will be a Sharia law in muamala, except what is prohibited. Right? Okay. Now come to the point here. The murabah, the question you asked. I said, okay. You have taken the car. You have taken the position of the car. Right? Now car met with accident. You have to pay to the bank money, whether you have to pay this debt to the money or not. But bank has sold goods to you on credit. Okay. Let me give an example in our practical life. So we go to a supermarket, say we go to a Carrefour or Lulu or Food City. So we took a trolley and we are buying goods. We bought a tray of eggs, right? Before we come to the counter, by mistaken, somebody came and hit, or we hit the trolley to some shelf or something. The egg fell down and 2 or 3 eggs is broken, right? But still we didn't make the payment for these goods. Now 2 or 3 eggs is broken. Now just let us look at, generally we know that the supermarket owner or the sales guy, they will not come and ask, or they will not come and force us to buy that eggs. It is broken, right? The cashier or the manager will not force us to buy because it is broken. They will replace another set of egg or another box of eggs, right? Why? Before we take the ownership of the goods, before we take the position of the goods, we didn't make the payment still, the goods, the eggs to come to our ownership. Before it come to our ownership, it's broken. Therefore, the seller didn't sell to us. So it is generally it is understood. Say example, you paid the money, you took the eggs, and you came out of the counter, and you just now remember something else your wife told to buy. Now you are keeping the eggs and some other goods in the corner of the wall, the supermarket. because you can't take that and go inside, and you are going inside to buy another 1 kg of sugar. Now when you come and see 2 eggs or 3 eggs is broken, now here you paid the money for the egg and you took the position. Now can you ask to exchange the eggs? Generally we know that the supermarket will not agree. Why? You have taken the position, you have taken the ownership, you paid the money. So after the ownership is transferred to you, it is your goods. If anything happens, it will be in your risk. Before you buy, it is at the shop's risk, at the seller's risk. Similarly here in the car in Islamic bank, if it is a sale kind of transaction, you buy from the bank on credit terms. If accident happen, it is at your risk. So you have to pay the money to the bank, right? If before bank sell it to you, if anything happen, it is at the bank risk, right? Hope the answer is clear. However, to mitigate this one, what the Islamic bank will do, generally they insist the customer to take a full insurance, Islamic full insurance. If anything happened to the car, the Islamic bank can recover the debt what you have to pay the bank through insurance. Hope the answer is clear.
Siraj Maulavi, just a quick connected question to that before we missed out. You said at last, Islamic bank will ask the customer to take the insurance. Is it the right practice? Because since the ownership still not been transferred to the customer, is it lawful for the Islamic bank to ask the customer to take the insurance?
Can you repeat the question? How?
You said during this period, I mean before the sales Murabaha sales contract is signed.
Okay.
If the question was basically if anything happened during the time, who is bear the risk. So in that case,
Yeah.
to what extent it is legitimate for the Islamic bank to ask the customers to take the insurance?
Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, it's a very good question. Let me answer. Generally, in the bank, if you want to go and take a finance, there is called CP, condition precedent. Condition precedent means you have to meet those conditions in order to get a finance. These condition precedents will fall under the category of security or covenants or collateral. We call it security or covenants or collateral. As we discussed in the last session, we look at what is prohibited in Islamic law, which is interest, uncertainty, gambling, and the zulm, injustice. Other than that, everything in financial transaction is permissible. Okay. The simple question always raised here: can we ask the security from the bank is asking a security from a customer? Is it allowed? In Sharia, there is no prohibition for the bank to ask a security from a customer. Similarly, a person, for example, I want to sell something on a credit to another person. Can I ask a security from that person? There is no prohibition in Sharia. We're asking a security, it is permissible in Sharia. Right? As we look at, it is not fall under the interest or uncertainty or injustice or gambling. So it is permissible. Now, can I ask more than one security? For example, right? I want to sell my car to you. Say I'm selling my car to Farzan. My car is worth of 1,000 riyal. He agreed to pay the price after 6 months, but I gave the car to him today. Now I am asking the security from him, one security that I say, you keep the mulkiya registration in my name until you make the payment, right? But I gave the car position. I said we agreed legally. We agreed to transfer the ownership, right? Like one example. Now I kept one security as the documents, car paper. I kept it with my name, with me. This is the one security. Now I am asking a second security. For example, I am saying give me a check, post-dated check after 6 months. Now can we say is it Sharia compliant? Where the question is it valid in Sharia to ask more than one security? There is no prohibition in Sharia, no clear prohibition in Sharia to ask more than one security. I can ask him give me a check also. Third question, third security I am asking, 2 is not enough. I need some guarantee. I need some guarantee from some people. Give me your 2 friends that they will guarantee for me. You will pay on them. Now this is the third. You may ask him why you asking more than 1 or 2 security, right? But is it valid in Sharia? In Sharia, asking more than 1, 2, 3 securities, it is valid in Sharia. It is not prohibited. Similarly, the Islamic bank asks for the full insurance, it is also kind of security as a collateral they are asking. So they put as a condition precedent, after the sale happened. Before the sale happened, the customer can't take the insurance because it will be either in the seller's name or the bank's name. So he can take his insurance in his name after the mulkiya ownership is transferred to his name. So generally he will take the full insurance after the car is come to his possession, but he will agree this as a condition precedent, as a collateral before the sale is concluded with the customer. Hope the question is answered for that.
Jazakallah.
There was another question in the group. The same example in Murabaha sale with Amana Bank. If the customer cannot complete the agreement, say at middle, what will happen to the car and how to settle? Okay, it's a good question. Say example, you bought the car from the bank at the 60-month installment. So each month you have to pay. Now let me tell you, it is a sale. It is a sale. You bought the car from the bank. You bought on a credit term, on deferred payment terms. Now the car is with you. You are the owner of the car. Now what you have to pay the bank, it is a debt. Now for this debt, the bank will mortgage this car in favor of the bank. It will be mortgaged to a bank as a security, right? Now tell me, look at our simple example life. Say I sold something to you on credit, right? I sold something to you on credit. If you are not able to pay the money, what will do? Anyhow you have to make the payment to me, right? I sold something to you. Say I sold something consumable goods, right? For example, say let's take an example. I went to a grocery shop in the pandemic situation. I said I didn't get my monthly salary. After I'm getting monthly salary, I will give you the payment. Give me a grocery for 10,000 rupees. I bought it for 10,000 rupees, right? Now I use this groceries, sugar, milk, rice, dal, everything I used and finished. But after 1 month, my company said, no, we are not in the position to pay the salary. We terminated you. They terminated me. I'm not in the position to make the payment. Now I bought a goods. I used it, right? Now do I have to pay the money to the seller or not? It is a debt. So generally we know that logically, yes, I have to pay the money 10,000 to him. Why I bought the goods on credit and I use it. Similarly, we buy a car from Islamic bank through Murabaha. We bought the car. What we have to pay to the bank is a debt. Now, generally, what is the practice? Right? If the car is mortgaged to the bank, if I am not able to pay the money, right, in the middle, what the bank will say, if I am miss 1, 2, 3 installment, bank will send the notice, pay the money, they will send the reminder. If I am not in the position to pay, bank will take the position of the car as it is mortgaged to the bank. It is in Sharia called Rahan. It is mortgaged to the bank. Bank will sell the car in the market price. Bank will sell the car through auction in the market price. And whatever money they are getting, they will take their money, whatever outstanding I have to pay to the bank. The remaining money, bank will give to me as a customer. You will get the remaining money. But this is a one difference between Islamic bank and conventional bank. In conventional bank, right, if you have taken a loan, you bought a car, you are not able to pay, they will take the car and go, they will sell. If there is any excess money more than what you have to pay the bank, sometimes they will not give the money back to you. But in Islamic bank, it is not allowed. In Islamic bank, if they have taken the car from you because you are not able to pay the money, if they sell the car more than what you have to pay to the bank, the remaining excess money they must return back to you. This is one of the difference between Islamic and conventional bank. I think there were 2 more questions remaining. One is about the maximum profit. Inshallah, we'll discuss this next class. There is another question regarding the investment on teak tree plantation. I think this is done by a company in Sri Lanka. I forgot the name. So we'll discuss inshallah during our next session. If you will have any questions, inshallah.
Brother, can I ask a quick question?
Yes, go ahead.
I thank you very much for enlightening us. But from a practical standpoint, my question would be, are you in a position to tell us that if we go that far as looking at Islamic financing, besides the individual transaction, that a particular institution, let's take Amana or Commercial Bank or Bank of Ceylon, and say these are the instruments in that particular bank that really are Sharia compliant? Are you in a position to say that? I know it's a tough question. Sorry to put you on the spot, but I think looking at, I'm actually living in a foreign country and I don't have any of those investments there. And I hear about many opportunities. We do want to invest in Sri Lanka. So I'm currently in the US. So I'm asking the question. I know it's a difficult one, but let me see what advice you have for us.
Okay, brother. It's a really difficult question. But let me tell you, in each bank have their own Sharia board, right? But I am not in the position very clearly say this bank is compliant to Sharia 100%. But what I can say, if you have any problem or any practice of their bank, I can clarify that is Sharia compliant or not. For example, the past practice, I can clarify that is Sharia compliant or not. I cannot assure or guarantee they will comply to Sharia in the future because it is upon their Sharia board, upon the bank's management. Is it clear, brother?
It is, but again, I'm sure you understand from a investor or from a common man point of view or with limited knowledge that we are trying our best to be Sharia compliant, and we need that advice. So I know that it's tough. It seems like it is a very tricky one, but maybe at the time that I'm investing, I should reach out to someone like you and ask, based on the current practice, is this something I should do or not?
Exactly, correct. I'm right. I agree with you 100% because I used to work for Amana Bank 8 years. So still I'm in touch with them. If you have any particular transaction when you want to enter into with the bank, with any bank, no problem, with Amana or any other bank, inshallah you can consult me. I will be more than happy to advise you. Many people, even after I left Amana, when they want to do a particular transaction, they still used to contact me and ask my advice whether is the correct way to do that. So I used to guide them, inshallah. But as an overall, I'm not in the position to answer your question, this is the bank you go with or this is the correct way to do that. I'm not in the position to say that. In particular way, if you approach me, inshallah, I will be able to advise you.
Jazakallah khair. Thanks, and I understand your position. Thank you.
Barakallah.